Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, today we're getting into something that's, well, unfortunately quite relevant these days. We're looking at the anatomy of a financial scam, specifically through some raw, pretty compelling chat messages. They're between two people who realized they shared this really troubling experience involving someone named Ghazala Din. And we're going to unpack the scam itself, but also the huge challenges victims face trying to get justice.
Exactly. Our goal here is to sort of break down the elements of this kind of fraud, understand just how widespread it might be, and crucially, yeah, explore why it's often so complicated, so difficult for the people affected to actually do something about it.
Yeah, and the chat itself just pulls you right in. It kicks off with this really blunt question, doesn't it? Did Ghazala Din scam you too? Just like that. Three question marks. It's such a stark way to start, but it immediately creates this connection, this shared negative experience.
It really does. And what's fascinating is how quickly that connection is confirmed. One person replies saying they personally decided not to invest, which is interesting in itself. But then they drop this bombshell. My family and friends got scammed big time by her.
Mm.
So right away, it's not just one-on-one. It signals a much wider network.
A whole network. Wow. And
Yeah.
that's often how these things work, exploiting trust, right? Within families, friend groups.
Precisely. These scams often leverage existing social connections, maybe word-of-mouth recommendations.
Uh-huh.
So that first question, that reaching out, it's actually a really vital step in figuring out the true scale of it all.
And the scale, well, it becomes clear pretty fast in these messages. They get into the money side of things. One person straight up says Ghazala Din owes their group 15K. Okay, that's significant. But then, and this is the really chilling part, they mention talking to others and realizing Ghazala Din has apparently scammed six figures from them. Six figures.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge jump. And it immediately raises the question, how does someone allegedly pull that off? Especially, it seems, without a lot of formal proof for these so-called investments.
Hmm.
The messages say the money was given willingly, but, and this is key, under false pretenses.
Okay, false pretenses. What does that actually mean in this context?
It means the agreement, the whole basis for handing over the money, was built on lies, deceit about what the investment was or what she intended to do with it. And then comes the pattern. She keeps saying she will pay it back, but always comes up with excuses.
It's a classic delaying tactic, stringing victims along, making it harder to pin down that crucial intent to defraud right from the start.
Right, because if they just look like failed investments initially, it's harder to prove it was a scam all along. And this seems to be the big hurdle the victims in the chat feel they're up against. One person actually says they feel like they can't go to the police because, quote, everyone gave her the money willingly and there's no proof, which leads to this awful feeling that the scammer is just chilling and essentially got away with it. That feeling is completely understandable, and it highlights the real difficulty. Proving criminal intent when the transaction looks consensual on the surface is tough. The burden of proof is on showing she intended to defraud from the outset, not just that things went bad.
So it feels like a dead end for them.
Well, not necessarily, and the chat points to this too, which is important. One user makes a vital point. If many people report it, then it becomes a criminal offense. That collective action is key. It turns isolated incidents into a demonstrable pattern of behavior for the authorities.
Ah, the power in numbers. Makes sense.
Exactly. And they also share that some victims have actually gone to the police. And significantly, there's apparently a news channel involved that's doing a story on her. That shows you the power of bringing things into the open collective reporting, media attention. It can really shift the dynamic.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what this deep dive into just a few messages really shows you is the raw frustration of financial fraud. But it also highlights, doesn't it, how critical that collective effort gathering evidence together really is for victims seeking any kind of justice.
It absolutely does. And it leaves you, the listener, with a pretty important thought, I think. In a world where we rely so much on digital trust, on personal connections, how do we get better at spotting these schemes, recognizing those patterns of false promises, the endless delays, and just as importantly, how do we empower people who've been targeted, help them understand that acting together, bringing evidence forward, is often the most effective way to pursue accountability?
Some really crucial points there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.